Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to talk about this disgusting Titans trailer from DC's streaming service that was released this weekend for San Diego Comic-Con. As you can see at the beginning of the video there, I'm quoting the late great Darwin Cook. And he made his comments, you can see specifically he was referencing there Frank Miller's All-Star Batman and Robin, as just an example of some of the nonsense that had crept into comic books and whatnot. And I'm going to use his comments there and his common critique of the comic industry as a springboard here, but I do want to provide the necessary disclaimers. Of course, he was talking about comic books, but I don't think it's that much of a jump to say he would have felt the same way about comics media in general. He also would commonly give this argument within the context of his belief that comic books were originally for children and they should return to being for children. Now, some people will take that and discredit everything he's saying, thinking, well, that's ridiculous. We don't just need a bunch of Casper the Friendly Ghost style Superman stories and that's it, or Batman or Titan stories or whatever. But you have to take what he's saying in the context of everything he puts out there. He says for children. Well, children is a big, broad term. I don't think he's talking about 5-year-olds necessarily. Look at some of his superhero work that he was proud of and placed forth into the comic book world, and you can gauge it about that level. So DC The New Frontier, certainly it's safe for children, but it has a lot of themes that adults or teens or whatever can glean out of it. So people try to disregard his arguments for that reason, and you simply can't do that when you take everything in context. But he voiced a dissatisfaction that many of us have felt for a long time about comic books or the comic book related media, and this really came to full bloom in Zack Snyder's ridiculous vision for the DC universe, in which Batman is killing and torturing and Superman murders. It's okay, he learns not to murder because he murdered. That's dumb. That is not the path to the basis or anything about the aspirational character type. It's this nihilistic worldview we've talked about many times, deconstructing the heroes to fit into your lowered standards of humanity and so forth. I wouldn't even want to meet or spend time with the person or the people who were involved in envisioning this Titan series and the nature of it and the spirit of it. Berlanti, even though he's given us some good things, he's also ridden off the rails plenty of times, and this is another one of them. I'm sure they're trying to take advantage of the DC streaming service, and they don't have to worry about television ratings and so forth. This is not the subject matter to go that route with. I would not want to spend any time, I don't even want to touch a universe in which Robin kills people and says F Batman. That's insane. That is so far removed from the nature of the character as he was created and as he grew into our culture. That is so far removed from that's an insane quote-unquote interpretation or version. This is just more of that dark, nihilistic nonsense. These are not the characters fulfilling their roles in our culture. These are people satisfying their dark, gritty, Punisher tendencies with a hopeful team like the Titans. A lot of people have been talking about this and have been making some great points, but I wanted to bring up one point that I think is tied to this problem. That is the fact that writers often approach the character of Robin as though he's simply an archetype and not a character. What I mean by that is they don't see any distinctions between Jason Todd, Damian Wayne, Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, Stephanie for that matter. They don't see any distinctions between that. They just see the archetype sidekick there for Robin, and we'll talk more about exactly what the archetype of sidekick does in one of the upcoming archetype videos. But they take the archetype sidekick, they don't really fully understand what a sidekick should do. They take the one easy way out that's been done a million times, which is the angry, desperate to break out on his own, wants to get out from under the shadow of the hero, that kind of angry, brooding, cliche little sidekick that they've made Dick Grayson in this series, as we see from the trailer. And before anybody starts the nonsense that, hey, just wait until you see it, because you don't... Yes, I do know. I saw this in the trailer. If they're going to represent this in the trailer and then completely do something different in the series, well, they still deserve this criticism because that's dishonest, and it probably means they changed something due to criticism like this. So enough with that silly argument. The Robin they portrayed in this Titan series is supposed to be Dick Grayson, but he's far more in line with the Damian Wayne. Not even Damian Wayne, though, when written well. And I'm not a fan of Damian Wayne because he goes far darker, and especially now with the Teen Titans run, he's wanting to break free from the ways that Batman and the Justice League do things because they don't work and so forth. This is a dark character. This is not who Dick Grayson is or ever should have been. He became a broodier character in the New 52, which was a wrong way to portray him, but I've never known him to break out and kill people in the comic books, and to say F Batman or to flaunt that philosophy. Even if one could point to certain run here or there, or that this comic or that doesn't make it okay. People have been trying that for a while too. Ever since Man of Steel, people will point to this Superman comic or that Superman comic and try to say, see, it's from the comic. Writers and editors have been making incredibly boneheaded choices in the comic books for ages. That's not the barometer to see if that's the iconic, true, mythological nature of the character. The barometer is how did the culture react to it. For example, John Byrne had Superman kill an alternate version of Zod and Co., and fans were outraged by it, and rightly so. It was a dumb move. As great as John Byrne's work was in many ways, he made some horrible choices in that run as well. So just because you can find some darker interpretation in the comics, like a Frank Miller style Batman or like some New 52 thing, doesn't mean that that's just as valid of a portrayal of the character. That's not who they're supposed to be. You're going to have a lot of drama with the Teen Titans, or Titans as you want to call them in this iteration. They are teenagers. You're going to have the teen angst, and that you can't ignore that. A lot of series, the original Teen Titans cartoon, before the Teen Titans Go, but the original one featured a Robin trying to break out of the Batman shadow a little bit. Some of that's okay. He doesn't go psycho and start killing people and say F Batman. That's preposterous. It's shock value. It's people trying to cater to the Punisher type crowd with the Titans franchise, with the Teen Titans franchise, with Robin, Beast Boy, Starfire. They're trying to use these characters to cater to a dark, Punisher-like crowd. There's nothing wrong with the Punisher. The Punisher's a great character, but the Punisher is not the Titans. The Punisher is not frickin' Robin. This is nonsense, insane. So the overall entire approach of the series, not to even say anything about the silly design still for Starfire and Beast Boy, but any of that's not necessarily insurmountable if the story was good, if they at least approached the characters as the way they should be portrayed, but they're not doing that, clearly. I was seriously planning on subscribing to the DC streaming service, but I will not give this money. No, not at all. I want nothing to do with a universe in which Dick Grayson says F Batman and kills a bunch of thugs on purpose. Berlanti thinks he can just pull anything out of the air and twist it around and do anything he wants to with these characters, and people will just buy it and the ratings will be fine. That wall's going to collapse on him very soon. So let me know your thoughts, and let me know your favorite Teen Titan or Titan stories from the comic books. Of course, we have the great George Perez, Marv Wolfman era, but let me know some specific tales or some specific arcs, issues even, that you enjoy that are a good iconic Teen Titans or Titans storyline. Would love to know that. Places we can go to experience the characters as they're meant to be portrayed and as they best serve their cultural functions. I will get to the sidekick archetype video soon enough, probably earlier than I had originally planned on now that the Titans thing is coming out and everything. So watch my Twitter for a couple more polls to see which archetypes should be next. Have a lot more to talk about and another live stream coming soon, so stay tuned. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Just swarms of people are coming on board to stand up to the nonsense of the She-Ra reboot or the Star Wars or whatever it is we talk about here. I'm going to be reviewing a great Chuck Dixon title in the next couple days as well, so lots of great things to come. Until then, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the hero stories you love. Thanks for watching.